Alright, I just realized I never quite made a proper intro for this, so we're going to do it this way. Going back and rewatching this was very hard because anyone who's been keeping track of my social medias or anything else knows that earlier this year, as of recording this a couple months ago, as this being posted, it'll be probably closer to like 4-ish months ago. It was towards the very beginning of this year. I lost Trico tragically. We have no idea what happened because he was perfectly healthy and then he was suddenly dead. So the only thing that we can come up with is that he must have hit his head on something while he was in his tank and he didn't recover from it. So this was very hard to rewatch, but I needed to get it out and posted, and quite frankly, I would rather do it now than it just be sitting here in my box forever, waiting and just staring at me. So, anyways, that's this. Hopefully, watching me go through this process might help a few people who want to convert their larger tanks into reptiles. Maybe. I don't know. If anything, maybe it will show people that it's not nearly as difficult as it might be made out to be by other people who have been doing it longer. Because at least to me, it feels like people who have been doing it longer tend to overcomplicate things. And while, yes, those videos are more fun to watch because they know what they're doing, it also tends to make things a little bit more intimidating than they need to be. But yeah. Anyway. Enjoy the rest of the video, I suppose. Oh, it is recording right away. Alright. Hello, hi, yes. Lighting in here sucks, in case that wasn't obvious. Oh, hey, that helped a little bit. Today I am working on this monstrosity. It is... By that I mean I have started it, as you can see by the ridiculous amount of foam. For those of you wondering, hey, why are there still random rainbow stones in here? That is because it is a pain in the butt to remove all of the stones from an aquarium, as anyone who has ever had an aquarium will tell you. But I am trying to make this into a terrarium, not an aquarium. And for that I need to finish with the stonework, which is what we're doing right now. So, I'm going to... Does this? I mean, I guess you can see what I'm doing from right there. So here's the thing. This is going to be incredibly boring for you, because this is as close as you're going to get, unless I want to put it hanging above, which I did consider. Don't think I'm going to do that, though, because that sounds like a pain in the butt. This is all going to be sped up for you. I will say whatever I manage to think of if it's something profound. If not, I will be listening to an audiobook the entire time I'm doing this. If you're wondering, I do have the filter already put in here. I do not have it plugged in yet because there's no water in here, obviously. This is going to be quite a large project, and this is only part whatever of this. That's going to be a lovely large stitched together video. Hopefully I can manage to not knock over the camera whilst I'm doing things. That would be swell. Who knows? I certainly don't. Put that over there. Alright. Like I said, if I think of anything profound to say while I'm doing this, I will announce it. If not, this is probably going to be a lot of me standing here, putting foam in, scraping some foam away as some of it got built up a little too far. And this is the kind of foam that you can just scrape away and then put back. And I have this bag of backup rocks that is for the thing, or that is from a trip. But I'm going to try to not have to use those if at all possible. That sounds like a less good idea. I am also basically going to be using the spray foam as glue. Because, well, I did it for the plastic in the back and it seems to work, so why not use it for the stones too, huh? Update, it seems like this does not work very well as glue on rounded objects, like the seashells. That, or it might just be that this can has decided to be particularly problematic, as I did not have nearly this many troubles when I did the first round of things. And I don't know if it's the nozzle or what. So I'm going to try to see if I can... The problem is the nozzle from the other one sealed itself shut with the sticky stuff, because that's how this works. I do know this stuff is water safe, which means even if I can't... Like, I know this is aquarium and terrarium safe, which means even if I can't actually get the sides of this looking nice, I can still, in fact, use it as is. I will just have to find a way to conceal it with plants and such, which is fine but not preferred, obviously, because I wanted to have it the way that I was trying to do it. I'm currently just trying to make sure every part of this is at least right around the same height. But as this foam is being particularly problematic compared to the last one, I do not know how well that's going to work. I might just have to cave and take this top off. And it's not letting me take the top off. Great. Great. Also, so you know, this great stuff garbage is expensive as hell. So, like, this wasn't cheap. That's why I only got the 2 bottles of it, because I figured that should be enough. And it would be, if it would actually fucking work. But it has chosen rebellion, and I cannot get it to function correctly. Alright, well, there goes that idea. I guess I'm not putting shells around the edge of this like I wanted because my thing is being a butt. My other option would potentially be hot glue, as I know hot glue is aquarium safe, because hot glue is basically just acrylic. I could also potentially use aquarium caulking as glue, but aquarium caulking is also expensive. So honestly, I might just do the first thing I said, where I just leave it white and figure out the background. This stuff also takes overnight to set. Well, technically it takes 8 hours. I prefer leaving it overnight. Ah, good. I finally got the top off. Now we'll get to see if the problem is the goo or the lid. Also, I have already done this without the lid a couple times before. So, like, my hands already. It seems to be the can itself, which is obnoxious because you literally watched me open it. Or at least I think you did. But this can is just not giving anything other than headaches. Also, for those wondering, the reason the filter is in here already is so that I knew the size of it, because this front part is going to end up being for shrimp, so I needed to know the size of the filter so I could block it off mostly, thus keeping the shrimp from accidentally ending up in it while also still keeping water flow. What I've been staring at this whole time. Yeah. Anyway, goodbye. Yeah. Okay. So, we are on the next part, which is the planting of the tank, since I have no way of fixing the water situation for some amount of time. I intend on getting some moss that I can grow in. This is the reason you might end up having some leaves in the way, as this little twerp, yes, you have deemed that I am unallowed to have plants on the floor unless they are for food. So there might be some leaves in the way while this is being the doing, because I don't really have anywhere else to put the plant. I'm trying, but my little shit has decided if there are plants on the floor, there best also be plant in her mouth. And I do not know if plant is dangerous to cats, so am trying to stopping that. I do have 2 smaller pots that will appear to have nothing in them. I'm hoping that the roots to that ivy is strong enough that the ivy will come back. If not, you will see an update next year. Well, let's be honest, you're going to see updates throughout the time. Of the thing being, because I have English ivy outside that I'm going to put in if the other ivy doesn't decide to grow back. Yes. So, today is planting. And arguing with a nosy cat. yes, this is quite busy. My plants are not very large right now, which means that I have a bunch of fake plants to take their place until they have grown up. I put the water fountain and the food up here on the lovely little shelf that I made specifically so that they would be easier to tend to, as I know that typically the water fountain will need filled probably once every 3-ish days. I'm going to try to get some moss that's going to block the gross whiteness that's the back of the water area. I'm trying to create a nice gradient between where light is and where heat is going to be. So they have some branches like here for basking, but also enough places to not have to worry about it, as well as shading a chunk of the water from the light that's going to be coming from this general area up here. So I think what's left is to make sure that water will hold. Now, I'm not concerned about small minor leaks, because small minor leaks aren't going to be a huge problem, given that I'm going to have to refill the water fountain every around 3 days anyways. I can just bring more water up if it's a slow leak. My concern is that it's holding water for the most part, which means that I should probably push this back where it's going to go. Maybe I should push this back to its like more final location. I'm not sure. Part of me wants to leave it up here though, over here though, at least until I get the animals into it, because it will be easier to deal with, but this also removes like a good chunk of my table space. So I think we're going to push this back. Yes. I'm not going to fill the fountain right away because that, or start any of the filters, because that would seem redundant to me, especially given no one's in here yet. This is mostly going to be a long-term test to make sure that the water will in fact stay, because I have not made it higher than the small leak. Here, we're gonna put you over here now. I have not made it large, any deeper than where the leak used to be. So we should be fine. I also think I may have made this side over here a little bit taller than that side. But you know what? That's going to be expected, especially when you're using an expanding foam. And the amount it's going to expand is questionable. Also, if you're wondering, the shelf in the back does have more support than what is really obvious. And also, if you're wondering, yes, I am intentionally pouring the water so it's hitting the glass. I only have a gallon thing, and all of my sinks are downstairs, so I'm going to leave you at that, and then later I will take a photo of it with all of the water in, or I might take a short video of it with all the water in. If you're wondering, this is from above. I did also hide the food dish back there as well. So, for now, this is what we're working with. If there's a mild leak, I don't exceptionally care, because that just means I don't have to water the plants, doesn't it? The goal is that the humidity that is in here is enough that I rarely have to actually attempt to water the plants. But I am going to have to the first while, because obviously the soil was dry being put in. But yeah. Also, for those of you wondering, the reason this is getting changed into a reptile instead of being an aquarium like it was previously is that this tank has been through at least 2 owners up before me that I'm aware of, and has been patched at least 4 or 5 times, which means I kind of don't trust it to hold water anymore, for obvious reasons. But small amounts are not going to cause nearly as much pressure as full amounts of water, so we should not have too many issues with it being a small amount. Also, if you're wondering, the reason that I made that little pool back there, is because I am going to be getting another ground amphibian friend, and so I want him to have a shallow place to be where he can get water instead of having to only get water from the deep area. But I connected it with the tube so that it would all go through the same filter. Makes sense to me. Anyway, photos will come later of it being filled with water, and then I will update once I get the water moss and all of the critters that are going to go in here. This is going to be a bioactive tank, which means I am going to also be getting your little soil critter friends too. Or at least I'm going to be attempting to do that. The problem with where I live specifically is that there are so few people that actually do reptile and amphibian and, well, herps. I'm just going to say herps. Which means that getting a hold of these things is a little bit more difficult for me. So we're going to see. And I guess now is where photos go. Bye. Okay, so this is normally when a big reveal or something would happen, and you would see the full tank in all of its beautiful glory and whatever. Small problem though, and that is that the 2 frogs that I could get, the only ones that they had that were of the species that are capable of cohabitation, are absolutely tiny baby friends that I will end up putting pictures of in the video. So that means we have to transfer him, and then his tank will become a grow-out tank for the itty-bitty baby friends. Here Trico is being angry and hissy at everything, because this is how he always is when you first get him out. Yes, you're a little shit. There's absolutely no reason for you to be hissing. If you thought, hey, geckos can't cause you any harm, his immediate reaction was to bite me, which I don't blame him for. He's being grumpy. This is how he always acts when I first get him out, which is weird, because usually he calms down pretty quickly. He just doesn't like getting out of the tank. He doesn't mind being out of the tank, because, well, that's how this works. And of course, his favorite game is how quickly can I run to try to leap onto the wall. Because when he was little, this wall used to have a door, and I used to let him occasionally run about on the walls in this room, because this room has significantly, because I would remove all of the things from the room that he could hide behind, and then he could just play in the room. The problem is now I don't have a door. Did you pee yourself? You little twerp. You little twerp. Yes, I'm wiping you because you peed on yourself. So, he would be a lot more handleable if I had been able to handle him more properly when he was little. The main problem with that was that I got him during the corona thing. And naturally, not long after I got him, I got the corona thing. Like, multiple times. So now I have to slowly desensitize him to being handled again. He calmed down pretty quickly, though. He is still darker green than he normally is, which is how you can tell that he's still a grumpy boy. Yes. You. I'm talking about you. You are the grumpy boy. The boy of grump. The good news is that he makes it incredibly obvious when he's planning to run. The other good news is that he seems to like being out as long as he's covered. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense. So, the closest thing that you guys are going to get to a reveal for right now is him going into his tank. And then seeing all of the stuff in there. And I have to get the fish and the buggies in. That won't take too much effort. And I will post pictures of the little baby froggies too. So, for now, that's all. Are you okay? Did you stop being a grumpfuss? For those of you who were paying close attention, he did actually lose a small part of his tail when he was little. Because he is a dramatic child. Let's see if we can get a good thing. Yes, there he is. The little grump. In this lighting, you cannot really tell how blue he is. But, you know, he's also very grumpy, which means that he's become green. He are become green. Yes, you. You are the very grumpy boy. Anyways, that is all for this interlude. Next time you see me, I will be showing you the tank and such in the reveal. Glass is a little bit, you know, wonked up. But, you know, there you can see the fish. I don't think we can see any of the little shrimpies. They took off immediately, but you can see all the fish, the neon tetras. I think the shrimpies took to hiding immediately, which makes sense. It's what they do. There's the cherry barb. Somewhere in here there are 2 red shrimp, or 3 red shrimp and 3 blue shrimp. The water looks a little bit janked up because I had the water in here for a month testing to make sure that it would hold water. And then I just turned the filter on yesterday. But I like how it turned out. Also, this isn't a full reveal because the dang heckin' lights that are supposed to go in that skull did not come with a thing to plug them in with. So, once we get that situated, and once I get this lid fitting slightly better, which is almost certainly going to involve me cutting tiny holes in for the cords, which is a thing I did not want to do because there's no way to cut little holes in for the cords when the cords have the big plugs. Because as you can see, all of the cords have the big plugs, which means cutting little holes is annoying, which means I just need to find something to plug that little gap. Not because the animals will get out, but because the crickets will. And I would rather that not happen. But yeah. There's Trico. He's chilling. The reason this glass is all messed up, by the way, is because this tank is old as hell. Anyways. I keep checking to see if any of the shrimp come out. But it looks like it's only the fish that want to be out. Yeah, well. I might also get some ghost shrimp because they're bigger. And they might help with the cleaning a little better. I did also, as you can see, specifically barricade the filter slightly. That way it's harder for that way it's a lot more difficult for the shrimps to get back there. And thus they can't accidentally get sucked up by the filter. That's important. But you can see just by the foam that's up there that the water is working its way to being cleaned. Yeah. Anywho, I suppose this means I will just have to make another video later updating where, see, there's one of the there's one of the crickets that escaped. I don't know if you can see it. But he's there on the brick. The brick, by the way, is literally only there because these kind of tanks don't make screen frames for these kind of tanks, which means that me and my brother had to make the screen frame. Also probably why it doesn't fit 100% perfectly. But it fits well enough. Now there's 2 of them up here. How dare you? Yeah, back here is where one of the major gaps is because of the fountain cords. The good news is that I don't mind crickets. And anytime I find them in the house, I just feed them to the gecko anyway. Anyway, toodles!